Meet Trevor. Trevor is an old hunter, which means he always wakes up in strange places without knowing how or when he got there. Also, he has back pains and bad knees, making it impossible for him to roll, take quick steps, or stand up quickly in life and death situations. Come on, old man, just get up. He also used to be an avid smoker, which has completely ruined his lungs, and now he can't even sprint anymore. Now that you guys met, I'd like to welcome all of you back. I'm StreamerMind, and this is the Bloodborne no sprint and no dodging challenge run. Obviously, the rules are self-explanatory, but if I do accidentally press the circle button, I will have to jump off the nearest cliff. Also, Merry Christmas everybody and Happy Holidays. I hope you guys had a fantastic time. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I'm getting closer and closer to 4,000 subscribers, and it would be the best Christmas gift if you could help me reach that goal. But enough said. After waking up at the clinic because of a really bad case of diarrhea, I ignored everything to reach the lantern and arrived at the hunter's retirement home, where I picked the axe as my starting weapon and my pistol. I then returned to Yharnam to kick some ass. I picked the hunter's axe because of the knockback from its charge attack, very useful when you're swarmed by enemies and you can't run away. I immediately started picking up blood shards around London, and once I managed to get my axe to +1, I figured it was time to beat our first boss, the Cleric Beast, which wasn't hard at all. With my charge attacks, it was really easy to break its limbs, and by just walking around him, I could easily avoid his attacks, and without any trouble at all, the Cleric Beast goes down on my first try. I kept picking up the rest of the shards, upgraded my axe to +2, and leveled up my vigor. Okay, time to break the game. I guess you're all familiar with Forbidden Woods skip, right? If you're not, let Daddy Stream holla at you. If you stand right in front of the closed gate just outside the clinic and somehow get the damn dog to grab you while you're standing there, by smashing the R1 and L1 button on your controller, you will be able to clip through the gate. Oh crap. Alright. If you've done everything correctly, congratulations. You have now access to the Forbidden Woods. Once I arrived there, I started picking up all the items I could find and got reminded that the enemies hit like trucks in this area and that my health bar was, well...
Ooh, that's kind of small.
I then took a few cannonballs to the face, but once I hit the elevator and unlocked that shortcut, I could start farming blood shards from the snake balls, which also have a rare chance of dropping some decent gems for early game. And obviously, I got my hand on all the twin shards I could find. I realized at this point that I was actually getting a good amount of souls, which I obviously spent to level up my vigor, strength, and blood tinge. More on that later. The big snake piles can be farmed for blood gems and shards as well, so it's better to make them eat your metal as well. You know, high risk but high reward. And once the last 2 shards were finally farmed, I traveled back to my retirement home and upgraded to +6 my axe. It was time now to open up the rest of the game. So Father G was the next name to cross on my list. Just make sure you always have some tombstones between you and him, because if he catches you, he will just wombo combo you to death without you even being able to get back on your feet, and you will have to redo that lovely run back all over again. Anyway, just get him stuck on some tombstones as I just said, do your Beyblade attack, shoot him in his ugly muzzle during his second phase, and take your well-deserved dub. After picking up the Blood Gem Workshop tool, I returned to the Dream to equip the gems I found in the Forbidden Woods, and entered Cathedral Ward, from which I made my way to Old Yharnam, where I had the most loveliest of times chewing bullets, knocking people off of buildings, unlocking shortcuts, everything while killing annoying, quick-stepping younger hunters in the process. Something weird, though, happened in my first attempt with the starving beast. For some reason, she wasn't really interested in the tomato-flavored snacks I was throwing at her. She preferred having me instead. And something told me I wasn't really ready for this fight just yet. So I returned to Cathedral Ward to get the rest of the blood shards laying around, teleported back to the dream and sold enough items to reach 10,000 echoes in order to buy the Hunter Chief emblem, made a quick detour to the clinic and picked up the Caner summons, and opened up the main gate and proceeded to open the rest of the shortcuts in the area. Hemwick Charcoal Lane was the first sign that some areas in Bloodborne are quite hard to traverse without sprinting. But after some trial and error, I was able to open the elevator. This area is filled with upgrade materials that are gonna come in handy later. And my idea here was to get the summons to spawn as soon as possible. So I got back once again to the ward, where I died while forgetting that I had nearly 40,000 echoes on me that I forgot to spend because of my raging dementia. So after retrieving my hard-earned cash, I said sayonara and leveled up my vigor, strength, and blood tinge. Why blood tinge, you ask? You'll see. I still had some consumable blood echoes which I popped to squeeze one more point into strength, and I was feeling guilty at this point, so I went to the cathedral to confess to the vicar herself my weird attraction for furries. Hello? Are you Vicar Amelia? Oh my god! What do you mean Amelia is also a furry? Anyways, she wasn't too bad. It's all about spacing, and the axe was doing wonders at breaking her limbs and staggering her. The biggest enemy in this fight and in this challenge in general was my poise. One wrong move and I would be stun locked to death, Quilag style. So I went to Twitter cancel the hunter wielding the Tonitrus for the lightning papers, and after popping a beast blood pellet, I was ready to spank some furries right in the ass. Now that was fun. Once I was finished leveling up, I went to the museum to touch things, and I beat the best boss in the game. Got the rune workshop tool and waited for my Uber to arrive. The doors open by themselves. Now that is luxury. I arrived in Canehurst just in time for my colonoscopy, and I then painfully walked my way around and picked up all the blood chunks and expensive clothing I could find while my stupid controller was trying to kill me. Hey yo, what the? I got the hell out of there, finally picked up my favorite hat, and got grabbed by a giant monster who I'm sure only wanted to give me some hugs. If you guys would ask me, hey, how was traversing the DLC under these restrictions? My answer would be shit. But the loot was simply too good for a greedy hunter like Trevor. So I endured the pain, and fortunately, right when I was about to go hollow, a savior in chat called Dicky Bartorn for AK, sorry if I spelled your name wrong, gave me a very useful tip. Basically, if you open your weapon menu and start spamming the X button to equip and unequip a weapon, the AI will not attack. It wasn't completely bulletproof and I absolutely needed some practice, but it got me safe and sound to the shortcut. I then obviously picked up the beast blood pellets here, the blood chunks there, and also the most valuable weapon in this run, the whirling saw. Which is fitting because I'm Italian, and since it's basically a giant pizza cutter, I couldn't wait to cut myself a slice of true Italian pizza with it. After upgrading it to +5, I paid a visit to the malnutrition suffering beast, and this time she seemed to really like my snacks, and even though she had the ability to hide inside of walls, my damage was no match for her puny health bar. The poison almost got me killed a few times, but I was able to break up her aggressiveness by hiding behind this statue. But I unfortunately got greedy and died, so instead I had to go back to the dream, bought the repeater, upgraded it to +2, equipped my bone marrow ashes and shot her from a distance, and when I got her low enough, I came back to the statue and finished her off with a fabulous spin. And that's how you do it with style. Got the Radiant Sword Hunter badge from the chest, dropped down at the secret workshop, and got myself a new pretty dress as well as an umbilical cord as a souvenir. Time for a game of shadows. Once I arrived in Bergenworth, I opened the shortcut, got the key, and went straight for Rom. I was kind of worried about the giant potato, to be honest. Especially, I was worried of his arcane attacks, as I had no idea how to avoid them without running or rolling. So, I had this weird idea that the most useless item in the game could become actually one of the most crucial items for this boss fight. I'm of course talking about the plank shield. And I'm not kidding, guys, this thing saved my ass. So I popped a beast blood pellet, punched Rom in the face to fill up the meter, got nearly half of Rom's health down on the first cycle, hid behind the shield like a filthy casual, and ended up trading with the giant spider. But hey, a win is a win. Excuse me, would you mind telling me how to get to Yahar'gul? Holy moly, that is a big moon. Anyway, upon arriving at the unseen village, I remembered that I needed to pick up the Saw Hunter badge and to buy the Saw Cleaver. This place looks gorgeous. I used my newly acquired weapon to no-clip this fence and then precisely fell on this platform, from which I charged another R2 attack and landed on this small square. From here, I unlocked the elevator, officially skipping 90% of this area. Time for the one Reborn to be dead again. He was more mobile than usual and even managed to catch me off guard and kill me. You had to act like a real boss just when I do these type of challenges, right man? But with the power of friendship and a beast blood pellet, I was able to endure, breaking one of his limbs and stun locking him, repeating the process on all of its other legs, and I made him regret he was ever reborn.
Alright.
I still had some business here in Yahar'gul, like picking up the rest of the blood chunks I missed. I then arrived at the Nightmare of Mensis, and this was one of those areas where it was practically impossible to go through by simply casually walking around. So I took some blue Gatorade, managed to sneak through the spiders, and then died right outside the elevator. Mind you, this took a lot of tries. If you want to see the pain live, I recently started streaming on YouTube, so you can go and check out the entire unfiltered run if you'd like. I returned to Yahar'gul once again and picked up the key to Upper Cathedral Ward in order to put my hands on the Cosmic Eye Watcher badge. I also lost most of my insight due to this sucking bitch over here, and I bought some more Elixir, and this time I managed to make it to the elevator, unlocked the shortcut, and I honestly couldn't wait to chase around the most annoying prick in all of gaming. Micolash. And my dear friend, let me tell you, Micolash resulted in being one of the hardest and most annoying bosses in this challenge, killing me a bunch of times. Until I remembered the super secret strategy of baiting an attack, punish him during his recovery, and backing off. And after whacking him in the face a few times and a bunch of poison knives later, Micolash finally woke up, opening the path to the endgame. I then picked up more blood chunks laying around in the area, made it onto this platform by charging an R2 attack with my fist for this important gem, got ran over by your mother, and got the giant blob to drop into the void to pick up the blood rock. I quickly returned to the DLC to pick up the remaining chunks I left behind and upgraded the pizza cutter to +10. My biggest issue with Mergo was dealing with her damn stupid clones, because spacing and finding the right timing to attack her was not an issue at all. So, to make my life a bit easier, I decided to not attack her too much during the Nightmare Veil phase. Instead, I waited for her to finish to pop up a beast blood pellet and started slicing her up like a vera pizza italiana, mamma mia. After so many hours of practicing her fight, her moves were really easy to avoid and walk around, making Mergo the wet nurse, Mergo the dead nurse. Sorry, I couldn't come up with anything funnier. Now that we've done that any percent run, time to go after the rest of the bosses, starting with the DLC. By the way, I will be using some online Chalice dungeons for the DLC for better blood gems and resources. To gain echoes quickly, you can enter this glyph right here. It's nothing sexy, I swear. And we kick off with Ludwig. And I'm not even kidding when I say that I died to both Micolash and Mergo more times than I've died to him. I'm not saying it was easy, but the World Geek Saw absolutely melted him, making him an actual joke. Because my beloved pizza cutter here deals serration damage, which is a hidden damage modifier that only a few weapons have, and it deals 20% more damage on beast-like beams, making it the perfect choice for phase 1. Anyway, this is how you make the perfect Ludwig After telling Ludwig how worthless he truly is, I took the eye pendant from Laurence, ignored the actual hardest enemies in the game, placed the pendant inside of someone's skull for some reason, and unlocked the big elevator that would take me to the research hall, where I unlocked the staircase, and after years, I finally reunited with my own species. I died to the living failures so many times I should have counted them. Since it's sort of a gang fight, my limited movement truly handicapped me in this fight, and I got desperate, so I killed Par real quick for infinite lightning papers, which the living failures are really susceptible to, and I was finally able to branch out of my family tree. Oh, she's dead, just the way I like 'em. Let's see if she's still warm. Ah!
A corpse should be left well alone.
Yes, ma'am. It'll never happen again, I swear. Turns out, Lady Maria was alive and well, and she stated the fact very clearly. So before dealing with that beautiful ray of sunshine, I began tackling some other bosses like the Martyr himself. Logarius was definitely the hardest boss in my Only Guns run. But this time around, I almost felt bad. I could tank all of his hits no problem, and my pizza cutter brought him down like a tank against a crowd of civilians. The same can be said about Amygdala here. I then came back to the dream and searched for this glyph to access this Chalice dungeon where I could get better blood gems. So I defeated the first layer boss and the 3 fatzos in the second layer, and they dropped a very good physical blood gem. And it was time to take my relationship with Maria on the next level. Honestly, her first phase wasn't too bad at this point, as I could easily break her poise and strafe around her attacks. Just watch out for her charged up move as she gains hyper armor while she's doing it. Anyway, here's how I became a wife beater. If you've made it all the way here, congratulations, we're almost finished. And it was here that I realized that I made a terrible mistake. When I was leveling up Blood Tinge, you see, I actually meant to level up ability. Because for some reason, I was convinced that Blood Tint was responsible for the damage of visceral attack. I realized it wasn't when I actually started parrying Kos, and the damage was actually pitiful. So I killed the remaining boss in the Chalice dungeon for a gem that would give me plus 16% on physical attacks and plus 15 AR. I then farmed off screen to level up my skill up to 33, and alright, let's check out that damage. Yeah, that is much better. Imagine how good my damage could have been if I only did the minimum research. Oh well, this is what happens when you don't plan your runs out. Anyway, this was my blood gem setup. Plus 16% on physical damage, plus 26% physical damage at full health, and a miserable plus 4 in damage because I couldn't find any triangular gem better than this one. And I didn't feel like farming. Anyway, let's get an orphan to go meet his biological parents. This took literal days, so please subscribe to the channel. So, the last boss from the DLC is Laurence. And how was he? Was he harder? Was he easier than Kos? I don't know. All I know is I'm here to tell you how to make the perfect bocconcini alla Lorenzo. Celestial Emissary and Ibrietas with ease, without any trouble at all. German, you can walk? Are you sure that's legal? Yeah, it's definitely illegal, I think. So after putting down the worst false invalid you've ever seen in your life, the moon presence came to say hi, and I gave her a taste of my pizza cutter, finally slaying the nightmare and freeing myself from this god-forsaken run. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this adventure with me. If you did, please consider liking the video, comment what you think, and subscribe to the channel. I put a lot of effort into these videos to make them the best they can be, and I made the extra effort to release it before next year for you guys. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.